Hey there everyone, today I am going to be talking about the new Touché Amoré and Pianos Become the Teeth split. The split is actually just a single track from each band. In Touché Amoré's case, it's actually the longest track they've ever written at 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Generally their tracks sort of linger around the minute to a minute and a half mark. Occasionally they'll hit 2 minutes, but 4 minutes really is the longest track they've written. And before I speak about the actual tracks themselves, I just want to point out that a lot of people have kind of been excited about this split, myself included, because both these bands are kind of some of the leaders in this whole the wave, you know, post-hardcore screamo kind of revival thing that's happening right now. Now, as I'm sure any of you that watch my channel know, I'm a huge fan of Touché Amoré already, but I must admit, I have never been a big fan of Pianos Become the Teeth. They've never quite clicked with me or really made me think I've been that interested or that excited about. They sort of just passed me over as being fairly average. But anyway, to open the split is the track Gravity Metaphorically by Touché Amoré. And like I said, I already know it's the longest track they've ever written, and it opens with this absolutely rumbling bass riff and very sort of hardcore punk style drums that sort of really drive the song forward. Now just really quick, I also want to say that I've actually known this song for a while. I saw it a lot of times live. Pretty much every show I've been to, which is 3, the Touché Amoré they've played this track at. And also I did find a decent live recording of it, so I did already know this track before it was released, and I already knew that I really liked it. But anyway, back to the track. After this, it sort of kicks in, and it's sounding very traditional Touché Amoré. All the sort of traditional elements are there. Jeremy's very passionate, powerful vocals over the top of a sort of very pretty melodic guitar riff with these driving drums and really warm bass. But I will say on this song, Jeremy definitely still puts in as much passion as ever, and I really like the lyrical content this time too. It's kind of, he's talking about this unstable building and it's kind of falling apart, and it's obviously a metaphor for a relationship, I would imagine. I don't know for sure, but there you go. However, for my money, probably the best part about this track is the absolute hard as nails instrumentation. Everything is just tighter this time around without feeling mechanical, and despite this song being over twice as long as most of their material, it's still just as detailed as their older stuff. They fit so much into this amount of time, it really is kind of surprising. Within just the first minute and a half, you have that very bassy punk intro I was talking about, quick bursts of sort of silence and syncopated hits on the drum with the guitar. Then there's also even these like really fast blasts of blast beats on the drums too to mix it up. But around the minute 40 mark is where the first half of the song is sort of over and the second phase begins. It goes into a very sort of well-placed tempo chain that kind of, it again fits very well, and the guitar's playing very soft and delicately at this point as well. And I must say, from here to the end is where the song really shines. It just sort of builds this instrumental and lyrical climax that just sounds so sincere, so raw and passionate that you can't not love it, quite honestly. It really is one of my favourite parts in any Touché Amoré song, and I think this is probably my favourite Touché Amoré song, period. As far as criticism goes, I will say the production is slightly worse this time around, or more specifically, it's the mix. The bass just kind of swallows a lot of it unnecessarily. You can still hear Jeremy's vocals and also the drums, because drums sort of cut through everything, but it does swallow the guitar as a result. The very sort of pretty, delicate and beautiful, in a sense, guitar melodies that are normally played on Touché tracks, you can't really hear it all that well because the bass just swallows it, like I said. So perhaps if that was tweaked, this track would come across better, but even still, it's my favourite Touché Amoré song, I think. And it also has me absolutely pumped for the album that they are due to drop later on this year. Keep an eye out for that. But anyway, the next part of the split, like I said before, I've never been a particularly large fan of Pianos Become the Teeth, but after this track, I can honestly say I don't know why. This track is essentially just one climactic stop-start experience. There are several build-ups and several build-downs. I don't know if that's the technical term for it, but whatever, it works. It's very, or surprisingly detailed at least, and stops me from being bored for the most part. When it erupts, it does sound pretty big and decent. I really like the production on this track. It's probably the best thing it's got going for it. It perfectly complements what's being played. It's not too raw, but it's not necessarily too overproduced that it feels clean-cut and dead. The mix is pretty perfect as well. Everything is in the forefront. Once again, the vocalist is very emotionally potent, and he clearly also puts a lot of passion into his delivery. I will say, if I have any criticism for this track, I do think 5 minutes is just a tad too long. After the 4th minute, I kind of think, okay, I've heard all the tricks this song has, I've heard everything it has to offer, well, there's not really much left to do, really. But overall, I do think it's a very well made, solid track, and I will reconsider checking out Pianos Become the Thief, and I'll also definitely check out what they do in the future. Overall, I really enjoyed this split. I've already got it ordered on a vinyl 7-inch, which I'm waiting on. Again, I feel like Touché Amoré's side was the stronger side, but again, both bands are very passionate, put a lot of energy and time into what they do, and I have a lot of respect for both of these bands, even if I'm not the biggest fan of one of them. And like I said, I will check out what Pianos Become the Thief do in the future. I think this split as a whole deserves a 7.5, and like I said, I'll definitely keep an eye on both these bands in the future. I cannot wait for Touché to drop an album this year. Should be good. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you've heard this split, let me know what you thought of it. If you've seen either of these bands live, or you have an opinion on these bands or whatever, feel free to post below, let me know what you thought, and I'll catch you guys and gals later.